Here we have it. A lot of games have been playing all throughout the weekend, all throughout the day, but this one right here will boil it all down to update our standings for week number 2. And Taco, once we come out of this, like we said, we get to celebrate who goes to what bracket, who will have a true chance to make their way to the FNCS final stage.
Definitely an exciting thought for sure, particularly for those teams that find themselves locked into that upper bracket side of semis. But for those who wind up in lower, at the very least, it's still an extension of their major life when you boil it all down, MDF, because even though they won't have as many opportunities as those teams in the upper bracket of semis to try and solidify their position for qualing to grands, it's still just another opportunity, one more chance to try and confirm your participation in grands. But I'm just honestly really excited to get back to the set lobby feature. That, to me, is the ultimate prize at the end of these qual weeks, Monster, because it's just such a different viewing experience as well. Teams really will shake things up pretty heavily once it gets to that set lobby aspect.
Oh yeah, that's where we really get to see the effects of upsets. You know, drop teams early in the competition, off-spawn battles, right? Like things really start to get put into the bigger picture, if you will. And every game has that much more significance behind it, as you don't have all the buffer room to work with, as we see kind of in these types of tournament settings. So a couple big names in this round already that we've seen. Asian Jeff, seen Reet, we have Sunetto, Snacky. This is it, their final chances. And do keep in mind, as we jump in with these teams, those points that they have right there, that is all going to, of course, you know, continue to accumulate on top of that. And that'll be what ultimately shakes up the standings.
Well, this is a dead side rotation for the ages. The Roller and Crackly just out in the ocean. Definitely have enough white heals, though, for this rotation to not deplete them entirely, but certainly a bit of a last lobby strategy, if I do say so myself, Monster.
I was going to say, would not recommend swimming with leather boots on by all means, but King Reed jumps in with the Ritual here, finds a nice set of eliminations there in the highlight, and then they're right into the mix there, run it back one more time. Look how clean that was, and a clutch save as well for Ritual.
One of my favorite things involving Reet today, Muzz actually managed to get a tweet out for it. Somebody actually took the time to construct Reet out of builds in one of the lobbies that happened here today. I truly do think that must have been quite the spectacle for Muzz and Paper to encounter, but Reet's definitely got some fans.
I think it's Clicks giving me a PC. I think he's playing all sides right now. He's just trying to win. That's it, dude. It's my theory.
Imagine. Would be pretty insane. And this is quite the view here from Sprite and Shore. Not sure if there's a team situated in that old Surge Tower, but if there is, again, seeing the Surge Towers in the first place, I kind of touched on it a little bit earlier on today, but Surge strategy is definitely different as far as Chapter 5 Major 2 is concerned. You don't really see too many of your experienced duos, experienced pros opting for the Surge strategy or the Surge Tower strategy strat. And so it's kind of crazy to think that that development of the competitive meta and how rapidly it can change season to season.
Yeah, we'll be curious. Like, you see in some titles, you know, games go with no updates for a long time, but the meta somehow manages to shift and change. I find it very interesting how a few of these teams are like slowly picking up these mythics, right? We've seen the chains, see the you know, the water bending. This guy's got bolts, you know, in his inventory. Like, it is really cool to see how time goes on, things just shift up just ever so slightly week to week. But take a look at this. Shore and Sprite not looking too hot here. The team that they were fighting, not exactly excited at the fact they were shooting at them, but they do seem to have the advantage right now. A little short. Looks to find a snipe there potentially.
Yeah, Curfew just did not have the HP to work with to kind of extend that escape attempt. Even if he had gone further into zone, it wouldn't have really made much of a difference since he didn't have any white heals available to keep himself up and running. Veer and Freeze, though, kind of poised up, side of this hill face. Good box, window edit peaks. Just got to be careful about face checking for some tags onto other players. Whenever sniper rifles are in the meta, Monster, you never know when you might just find yourself getting turned on.
Yeah, we've seen it earlier when we jumped in with that Clicks and Epic Whale, and I was just hyping up. I don't even know if I was hyping up Epic at that point. He just got bodied. Like
he wants to forget that happened.
quite savage, to say the least.
Happens to the best of us, though. Always got to be able, an experienced pro like Epic. Those are the kinds of instances where mentally you're not going to see him too shaken up about it. Always going to be able to maintain a really strong mental fortitude and understanding the fact that, hey, you get knocked down once, you can still get back up and, you know, try to turn the tides in your favor.
Here's Irix and Pi on the move right now. Barely above the surge here. Bit of a stat game. 61 alive, not too shabby for a last game. You know, sometimes the last round is really hit or miss. It's like, either you're gonna get the folks that are like, oh, I'm just gonna keep this out and call it a day. And then you get a lobby like this where it's like, hey, wait a second. Like, I really, really wanna get this upper bracket locked in, or maybe you just need to do as great as you can to get that lower seat.
No one really seeming to compromise their position. They want to ensure that they get those placement points as maxed out as possible, given the fact that they won't have another lobby to participate in. Up in the skies, though, standing on top of the statue of Ares, Willers and Quace, just wings of Icarus to make sure that they stay on top of this statue. Quite the base that they have set up here, but all for naught, seemingly. Trying to see if they can maybe catch off a team rotating from the dead side of zone, but again, they've also got to make some moves here eventually to go into the next zone themselves. They can't stay locked up at their current position forever.
What's going on? Grace, you can't stay here for much longer, buddy. You gotta get inside.
It's a last lobby strategy, that's for sure.
Little last lobby strategy. Catch the storm sticking us before it's too late. Take a look at this replay right here. Tries to jump into the box.
That was Noxie, by the way.
Not work out well.
Unfortunate stuff for Noxie, though. Get eliminated there. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, is Asian Jeff, Oliver OG. Oliver OG actually with 2 eliminations. But the loadout, not exactly what you would want in this current position. Asian Jeff and Oliver OG, despite having those 2 elims, they're just barely above that damage threshold. And they know this is their final opportunity of the day to try and confirm semis.
It's a good rotate here from Frantic. But Agent Jeff and Oliver, a team that's not rotating right now. This is looking pretty dicey here. This could be the results for the other pain point in their game today. And someone jumps in the box. Is that a dead even trade?
Honestly, probably one of the most unfortunate circumstances there for Oliver OG, but again, sometimes the exchange is just as even as can be. Meanwhile, Polis and Flix, they've got a decent spot currently, but again, zone pulling just far enough away that they're gonna have to leave their box sooner or later. Not much Flowberry Fizz left to work with, but Polis, you can see, spotting out some primo loot in the distance. You can tell.
Many times you gotta eye down some loot before you decide if
He wants it so bad, but
you're gonna jump in for it.
is it free though? That's the question.
Ooh, Snacky and Seneto set up a little tactic here from the side, leaving the walls open to bait teams into their tarp. Almost catches someone, but not quite. They do have the effects to, of course, rotate with. I like this move here to go around the outskirts, go around the side. Great tag from Snacky. Man, Snacky's really been hitting these snipe shots all day today. Actually impressive.
Sometimes you can just tell when a player is on fire, and Snacky not even taking any sort of chances, checking every single corner on his rotates, and for good reason. Vaga is going to get spotted out and taken out. Goes from some sick sniper shots into the well-placed gatekeeper. And again, that's just going to push Snacky one step further into a nice placement here to finish off the day. But they've got to deal with Reet and Ritual, who are looking like the final bosses of this final lobby here today.
And like we said, here we have it. This is the last ongoing game in the North American server here for qualifier number 2. Snacky and Seneto being one of the few teams standing. Make that just Snacky at this moment as Seneto was taken out. Reet and Ritual have the high ground. Creep and Epic Dom have a true chance to potentially take this one as well, as they find this wonderful refresh here. Still very much healthy as well. And then that's it. We get to dice up who goes to uppers, who goes to lowers, who has a chance at the finals.
Oh my goodness, poor Snacky, man.
Thanks for the wall.
He can't even use his fizz though, just now, because of the other player's wall. But
oh my gosh.
Again, instantly edited. Snacky only gets 20 shield off of that Flowberry fizz, but he was initially holding it, not using it, because he didn't want the visual cues to indicate his position from where he was crouched, where he was hiding. Now, a real opportunity to finally expend some of that Flowberry fizz, get his shields as maxed out as possible. Reet, though, pretty precarious position. No shield left. Gonna have to expend a shield potion. Does still have 6 splashes to work with, though, as Snacky finds a handful of builds to work with, but only 2 remain, getting blasted from the floors underneath him, and back to 0 builds he goes.
Man, adding vaulting to the game really does change everything. The fact that Snacky was able to just maintain that little bit of height, it's giving him that much more time to stay alive right here. Lands on top of a player, huge tag there, and plays the outskirts. Could farm the rock. He says, nope, I just want to move. Pressure is fully on. An elimination as well. Snacky is still going. Will this be a determining factor for his position in the long haul? We'll just have to find out as he finally cracks 200 here. That's an accolade in its own. But my gosh, what a game Snacky's on right now with 9 total health.
Yeah, who needs a rock when you can get a player instead? But Snacky, he's gonna have to keep stringing together shots like that last one if he wants. Fortunately, zone pulls back in his favor, though. An actual blessing in disguise here. Even though he's working with pre-existing builds that aren't his own, for the most part. Still got a decent tarp layer going through on that low ground. Reet and Ritual now dropped to the low ground as well. And again, it's a nice knock onto Max, but look at Snacky. He's still making it work with 9 HP.
I was gonna say, there's no way he's going in the storm right now and really trying to risk that. Oh, wall's gonna get broken there. Player in front of him almost finds another set of eliminations, but hey, you know what? You played with house money, you got all the way to top 7. That was an incredible run for what it's worth and a clutch up. Reet and Ritual not looking to give this one up right now at all. They want as many points as possible. This is another team that is very much in contention for that same point range right here. Take a look at Ritual. Completely different layer, but working his way through, clearing things out. Meanwhile, Flacco's son is just above them.
You can tell, though, Ritual, Reet, they're definitely feeling a little bit of pressure from the suppressive fire coming from up above, and it's Veer and Freeze who are actually menacing from the high ground. But yeah, as you just pointed out, only 1 build remains here for Veer. Ritual, though, gonna be able to find Flacco in the process. Siphon materials might give him enough builds. Reet still looking to build his way out, but no, Reet gets caught out. Ritual signs a similar fate, and the end shut down just like that. But well played to Veer and his duo, just full control from the high ground.
Yeah, Veer and Freeze played it very, very well. Although they had a little bit of material, they continued to put the pressure down, which honestly changed the game. They forced all of their opponents down into those lower layers. And hey, man, listen, Re and Ritual just went on a tear. That is the kind of Re and Ritual we want to see show up week after week. And if they continue to trend in this direction, I am willing to bet they're going to have quite the performance in the weeks to come. But, you know, again, congratulations to Freeze and Veer there. That's an accolade. Winning a game on the FNCS stages is something that many teams never get to do, Taco.
Yeah, I'm sure they're definitely going to be riding a little bit of the dopamine high after that one. I can't fault them for it. Although, gotta admit, the way that the zone pulled, that natural elevation, definitely playing out in their favor, considering that they were the team that just managed to maintain that high ground, and it made all the difference despite not having as many builds to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, listen, from us here at the desk, Monster and Taco, we thank you guys for, of course, tuning in with us. There's so much more action to come. But first, we need standings, then we'll wrap this weekend up. So, Zeke, take it away.